How's it going, everybody? This is Andrew Shrout continuing to run the gauntlet of classic draft formats. Although at this point, calling this a classic draft format is a little bit of a stretch. We're drafting Scars Block today, so let's dive right in. The opening pack gives us a couple of options. The rare's a giant man. He's good. If I were going to take a green card out of this pack, I think I would probably take Thundering Tanadon to keep my options open. So he's the pick over him. The other things to consider are Suture Priest, if we wanted to draft like a super aggressive, like the red-white Metalcraft type deck. Although Shattered Angel is also in the pack, so Shattered Angel is probably the better white card. Blighted Agent's also here if I really wanted to like force Infect. I think I'm going to keep my options open and just take the Thundering Tanadon, which is a big burly dude and is colorless, so he will almost certainly make my... Actually, forget almost. He will certainly make my final 40. So we have no color commitment so far, and we are ready to take signals. And I think the signal here is Artillerize. Artillerize, I think, is clearly the power card in this pack. Yeah, there's really not much else here that... Well, yeah, there's nothing here that's even remotely close in power level to Artillerize. The next best card is probably like, I don't know, Pristine Talisman maybe, and then that's kind of a stretch. This card is very good in certain decks and completely pointless in most others. Whereas Artillerize, you kind of have to do some work to make Artillerize good, but the work involves having artifacts in your deck, and this is Scars Block. There are plenty of artifacts to be found. So we need to focus on our artifact count, focus on being aggressive where possible going forward. But we're gonna commit to a color at this point with an Artillerize. Obviously, we don't have to. We're not just completely locked into red, but this is going to be our direction going forward unless a strong signal says otherwise. So here. The two power cards here are Blinding Soul Eater and Wing Splicer. I'm not actually sure which is better. I think the Blinding Soul Eater. Both of these are sort of color commitments. Obviously, Blinding Soul Eater can make your deck no matter what. He's a tapper. Tappers are always insane. If you're white, he's just a tapper and it's just insane. If you are not white, he's still quite good, but probably not as good as Wing Splicer would be in a blue deck. We'll keep the options open. I'll take the Blinding Soul Eater. All right, we're sort of rewarded. There's a Dispatch. Dispatch wants a high artifact count, which is cool. That's kind of the path we're on anyway. And I think it is... I think it's the best card in the pack. It goes with the half-white card we've just taken. Conversion Chamber is also very good. Conversion Chamber might actually be better than Dispatch. I kind of think it is. Conversion. It's kind of a grindy card though. It's not particularly aggressive. Jeez. Of course, Dispatch also can just not be removal when you need it to be. Yeah. I'm gonna take the Conversion Chamber. Conversion Chamber will always be good, pretty much no matter what. It's a little slower, but on the whole, I think a better card. The choices now between Slash Panther, who's a good man, and an artifact, or Victorious Destruction, which is extremely expensive artifact removal. We don't have... Well, I said we don't have removal. We have... This is kind of removal. This is a tapper, so it's pretty much removal. I guess we're not like seriously hurting to the point that we can just skip out on taking a good man. I'm going to take the Slash Panther here. We've seen quite a few Infect guys go by, so so far we've just completely declined on that strategy. The well hasn't really run dry on the I don't want. I'm hesitant to say red white, but what would presumably be a red white like Metalcraft's aggro deck. So we'll continue with those for now. Another Blighted Agent. We've seen like 3 of those, and a Whispering Spectre. That card's very good. So the choices now for us would be like Forced Worship or Loxodon Convert. Forced Worship is fine. It's it's removal, but it is generally pretty weak in an aggressive deck. We have the colors we're presumably playing are they tend to be aggressive, although we haven't actually, I guess haven't actually made many picks on curve thus far. I think I'm gonna take the Force Worship. There's a possibility that we're actually going to be kind of a little more mid-rangey than normal, considering we have a conversion chamber which kind of dominates a board as the game goes along, and several kind of expensive cards. These are all 4 drops really, so Force Worship might actually turn out to be pretty good. We're going to want to emphasize evasion where possible to enable that, which is convenient because this guy is an evasive dude. The other option would be Necropouncer, which is real expensive and not exceptional. I'm just going to take the Soul Eater. All right, man. I feel like Infect would have been the way to go here. We've passed so many sweet Infect guys. We just passed the Glistener and Elf, and here's another one. But there are still cards for our deck that are pretty good. Victorious Destruction is removal. It's a little expensive, but that's okay. Numbing Dose is also removal in a sense, but it's a double-colored commitment to a card that to a color we really only have Trespassing Soul Eater to encourage us to play at this point. Artillerize is really the one power colored card we have so far. Red I think is the one color we know for sure we're going to play, so I'm going to take the red Artifact Destruction here. And there's a Immolating Soul Eater, which is pretty handy actually. This guy he's pretty aggressive. He has an artifact which is going to enable the Metalcraft that we don't really have any Metalcraft cards so far, but we are doing a pretty good job of filling our deck with artifacts thus far. So we want to keep that theme up and pick Metalcraft cards high in the second and third pack. This is the Make Mana guy, which is useless. Sure. Not really anything to see here. Shrine of Piercing Vision is playable, so we'll snap it up. These things still hanging out. Rage Extractor, we can 5 somebody and 6 somebody. That's kind of cool. We don't have anything else to enable to do with it though, so probably not the pick. I'm just gonna cack this Glistener Elf. This is just getting out of hand. And the Dispatch tabled. Wow. Dispatch might be worse than I thought it was. At the very least, it's probably less consistent than I think it is. So that might explain why it's making the lap. Either way, we're happy to snap it up here. Yep. Neither of those ever going to make our deck. Scrapyard Salvo might make our deck. Probably not, but sure, why not? I'll go ahead and hide it, but there's a slight chance it's going to show up. So going into the second pack, I think we are tentatively red-white, although blue is still on the table with Shrine of Piercing Vision and the Soul Eater. We can also splash a third color generally pretty easily. We don't really have any heavy color commitments, or we don't have any color commitments come to that. We actually just have 4 colored cards. Force Worship may not even make the deck. So given that we know red is the one color we're definitely playing, we can safely take the semi-bomb in that color. Into the Core is very, very good. If you have like a ton of artifact removal, Into the Core can it has to have 2 targets. You can't just remove one artifact with it. So it is occasionally a little clunky, but When it's good, it's very, very good. So I think it's the safe pick here. We're not really declining on much. The next best card, I guess, would be like Ichor Wellspring, which is just okay. It's sweet with our Artillerize, but I think we're going to go with the 2-for-1 here. Okay. Peace Strider is a good man. Mirror Turbine spits out dudes, which is pretty cool. Spin Engine, also a good man. I think Peace Strider would be the pick over him. So the choice is between Turbine Strider and Divine Offering. So let's see. We already have one artifact removal spell. We have this, which is also an artifact removal spell, and artifact count now is at like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just 6, I guess. I'm hesitant to count Shrine of Piercing Vision because if we don't play blue, we probably won't play it. Offering, I think, is probably the best card. We have a lot of 4-drops already. Even though I would like to pick up another artifact, I think we can find those later. I'm going to take the Divine Offering for now. Oh, okay. Spin Engine still around. Peace Strider still around. This time we have Alina and Sky Hunter to contend with. We're still a little concerned about our artifact count, but the Sky Hunter is aggressive enough and enough better than Spin Engine and Peace Strider that I think we can safely take it here. Maybe Spin Engine's very good. Yeah, sure. Okay. So now we've got Tynstrike, which would be our first Infect guy, so I'm not excited about that one. Gore Vassal is kind of cool. He's okay. He's a weird removal and a weird. Sometimes you end up using him on your own guys. He'd be good like to protect like a Thundering Tanadon, for example. Or I guess Crush is playable. It's more of a sideboard card. Or Bladed Sentinel. Bladed Sentinel is kind of an uninspiring dude, but he is an artifact creature. He's not great on curve, but he will bolster the artifact count, which we've kind of slacked off on so far in the Mirrored and Besieged pack. So I think that's going to be the pick. We could also just cack this, Spread the Sickness. Actually, yeah, I'm going to do that. Might end up even splashing it. Gust Skimmer is a good man and an artifact. I think that's going to be the pick here. There's also a Rusted Slasher. We have a ton of 4-drops already, so I'm not excited about the Rusted Slasher. I think I am just gonna take the 2-drop here. We don't really. It's looking less and less likely that we actually play blue. So I'm basically just playing it as an artifact Grizzly Bear, and that's totally fine here. I think. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Some options. We can snap up a big burly 4-drop or a artifacty 4-drop who's a little less burly, or another 2/2 flyer. And I think the 2/2 flyer is the pick here. We've kind of makes me wish that I had taken the Spin Engine and those actually really efficient artifact guys early on in the pack. I guess I can hold out hope that they'll table, although that's extremely unlikely. But yeah, just the power level on this guy is just so much higher than like something that would be a little more synergetic. So I'm gonna snap it up. Okay. We can take a Signal Pest. Signal Pest doesn't get a lot of respect, it doesn't seem. If your deck is aggressive enough, it can be very good. It is, and particularly pretty good with the doubles, Lina and Sky Hunter. And it is an artifact guy, which is pretty handy. Unfortunately, it doesn't really do anything on its own, so it's kind of a questionable card. The other option would be like one of these 5-drop. Well, one of these 5-drops. There are several to choose from. We saw a lot of these guys. One of them, I think, will table. We have not seen any concussive bolts so far. So I think this is going to be our last opportunity to pick one of these up. So I'll go ahead and snag it. It might not make our main deck, but it'll be a sweet board card regardless. The spin engine. This is not the table pack, right? This is. Yeah, okay. So this is not the spin engine that we would have tabled, but this is still a pretty late spin engine and one that we will happily take. It's definitely making our deck. It bolsters the artifact count. It's a good aggressive guy. Spiraling Duelist is okay if you're on a heavy artifact plan, but we have kind of faltered there, and we definitely need to keep bolstering the artifact count. Spin engine's the easy pick here. There's another artifact man. We can pick up the Bladed Sentinel that we declined earlier. Razorfield Rhino is maybe actually better, although he's pretty pricey. So we're already sorted by cost. This guy's actually 4-drop. I guess our curve is actually not that bad, but yeah, I'm just gonna take the 2/4. The spin engine did table. Excellent. Okay. That's a great sign. I don't remember what else was actually in this pack that someone in red even would have taken over a spin engine. So that is wow. Okay, spin engine generally way too good to actually make the lap. I would think, but I could be wrong. Actually, it's been a good minute since I've actually drafted this format. My token manipulation, I think, is just pretty much blank in limited. So there's a force walk guy. He will be good out of the board probably. We'll hide him for now though. He's definitely not making the main deck. Here we'll just rare draft. No shame in that. Crush for the sideboard. Excellent. Yep. All right. I like the direction this deck has gone. We got some pretty sweet ones for their position in the back half of that Mirror of Besiege pack. So the deck's really kind of coming together. We're going to be looking to mostly fill out the artifact count to enable our conversion chamber, our dispatch, and also looking to pick up rewards, basically cards that we've kind of been focusing on our artifact count, and we don't actually have Metalcraft cards yet, so we're going to be looking for those to kind of pay us off. And at least in this first pack, we're not actually going to find any, which is pretty disappointing. Our colors were open going into the second pack. At this point, we're pretty well locked in. We've got double Leonin Skyhunter, we've got a double red card, and an Artillerize, so we're definitely red-white at this point, so unfortunately we are going to have to decline on the Sergeant Sphinx, even though he is a sweet one. So the options for us are not really that good. Bladed Pinions, I guess. I think I hesitant to take a Saberclaw Golem. We're pretty well covered on our expensive drops. And the Pinions, I guess, is actually pretty good on a Slash Panther or a Tanadon or even a Spin Engine. So Pinions, I guess, is actually a decent card in this deck. Not really what you want to be first picking in Scars of Mirrodin, but it's fine. It'll probably make our deck anyway. I'm going to go ahead and start cutting some of these off-color cards. I'm going to leave this Spread the Sickness here. I probably won't just like splash it raw, just play some swamps to splash it, but if I get like if I see a Leaden Mirror, I'll definitely snap that up and probably try to enable it that way. Here the choice is between Bladed Tri-Berserkers and Panic Spellbomb. I'll hide this for now. I know it's there, and I'll keep it in mind, but just to look at the curve as it's laid out, I think all the rest of these cards are very, very reasonable to make a main deck. Bladed Sentinel is probably the least Least likely to make the main deck, although we probably need the artifacts. Our creature count is a little low, so I think I am going to take the Berserkers. Yeah. I would like a Panic Spellbomb. Spellbomb is pretty handy, but I think we need to fill it out with men at this point. The artifact options don't really fit with the deck. Memnite's okay, but it's pretty unimpressive. This is really not a Wall of Tanglecord deck, even though Wall of Tanglecord is a pretty sweet card. So we're going to take the Shatter. Shatter, it's removal. It's cheap. It's efficient. Obviously, Shatter is a very good card. Would really like to see something like a Chrome Steed or something like that. Embersmith would be sweet. Just something that can really pay us off for trying to force artifacts, kind of the way we have. But Shatter's a sweet one. Listen to me complaining about a Shatter. Yeah, let's go with it. Yep. Honestly, nothing here that we're excited about. Necropede is probably the most annoying card remaining, so I think we're just going to snipe it. Possible we could even play it. It's okay. Just as kind of an obnoxious speed bump, it's pretty easy to actually trade it with something. But there's absolutely nothing else here for us, or really for anybody. There's a couple of Infect guys, but of those, Necropede is the best one, so even just as a hate draft, Necropede, I think, is the pick. There is a pretty late Perilous Mirror. Perilous Mirror is also a sweet one. Functions actually pretty similarly to a Necropede, but can go to the head and kind of deals damage on the same... actually deals proper damage along with all the other cards in our deck, so it fits a little better. We're pretty happy to see it. Trigon of Rage is also very good. And I think... Well, I mean, we have the Flyers, we have the unblockable guy, we have the semi-unblockable guys. Trigon of Rage would actually be very, very good in our deck, but I think I'm just going to take the Perilous Mirror. Kind of use him to hold the ground while we set up our bigger dudes. Yep, Corpscur, Clone Shell, Turn to Slag is more removal. We have no equipments, so Sunspear Shikari, just a bear. Nothing really exciting here. Yeah, there's not really... I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of a Clone Shell. It's kind of a hit or miss type card. As a body, it's pretty unremarkable, and you don't reliably find like a sweet one that to flip over when you kill it. Sometimes you just get somebody kind of weak. So I'm just gonna take the removal here. So now I guess it is time for the Sunspear Shikari. Maybe wouldn't actually even make our deck. The other option would be like Necrogen Sensor, which bolsters the artifact count. Well, the artifact count is actually pretty high at this point, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The only actual Metalcraft card we have is Concussive Bolt. Generally, that's like the last spell you play in a game, so it's okay if we don't... If 12 is a reasonable artifact count to enable Concussive Bolt. Yeah, I'm just going to take the bear. Possible that we don't really need it, but okay. This is kind of a gift. It's off-color, although even as an off-color option, we can use the blue mana to activate Trespassing Soul Eater without losing life. And it just kind of ramps us. I would have, even an off-color mirror is very good, and they usually... Since you only get one pack of them in the full block, they usually go earlier than this. It's surprising to actually see 1/7. Both of these cards would be fine at this point, but Silvermere's actually a pretty exciting option. This is the pack we opened, and it has gotten no better for us than when we first saw it. Lumengrid Drake. I guess we have a Silver Mirror now, so maybe we could even splash it. That's a pretty weak splash. I guess Seize the Initiative is a playable trick. Actually, it actually fits our deck pretty well. We have a lot of guys with high power and low toughness, so a cheap first strike trick is actually pretty valuable. We'll snap that up. Kuldotha Rebirth. We didn't actually get any of the Battlecry guys, so this is pretty weak. Fulgent Distraction might actually make the main deck. Well, I definitely won't make the main deck. I could see myself boarding it in certain situations, so we'll snap it up. Yeah, couple of weakish cards. We'll take the Grizzly Bear here. Sure, don't actually need any of these. With the Shikari and the Daredevil in particular, Carapace Forger. Yeah, it's nothing we can do anything with. And I'm not actually intending to actually play all of these Grizzly Bears, but in certain matchups, I may actually board into a configuration that just spams bears. So some of these are kind of sideboard cards, but I may actually try. I'll play around with it in deck building. So I'll actually. We have several cuts we need to make anyway. Deck building is actually going to be kind of something interesting. So we're here already. So I guess I'll just go ahead and make the transition. Yeah, let's first fill out with all the cards that we're definitely playing. That's one of them, I think. Gust Skimmer probably isn't, but probably should be. So that's 10 artifacts. I felt like we came up with more than that. Well, okay, this one and then the Slash Panther. Still just 12. I think I was counting this as well. We'll come back to that. Dispatch for sure. I think this is probably a definite main deck card. Yep. Both of these guys. And then removals, stingers, removals. And shatter. Okay. So, just the cards that I thought for sure I was definitely going to play, I ended up with 24, so we need to make a cut even out of these. We're only at 13 creatures, so under no circumstances will I cut a creature. We are also at 12 artifacts, which is kind of the bare minimum to play Dispatch and Concussive Bolt. So if at all possible, I'm going to avoid cutting an artifact as well. Which means that Seize the Initiative, Concussive Bolts, Turnus Leg is a potential 2-for-1. It reliably kills almost anything, so I don't think it's getting the cut. Shatter? Jeez, cutting Shatter doesn't sound right. Maybe Bladed Pinions. I guess Dispatch is actually kind of also on the chopping block. It's kind of at the border of consistency here. It might actually just end up being a twiddle when we need it. So, this is a 4. This is a 4. Huh. I guess the Seize the Initiative is probably the clear cut. Although I don't know, I really like this card. For our deck, I think it fits pretty well. We're gonna be in a lot of situations where we're like jamming Spin Engines and Splash Panthers and that kind of thing into creatures. So, I guess I forgot about this card. Victorious Destruction is probably the cut. We have a Shatter, a Divine Offering, and an Into the Coil already. So, we're not lacking for ways to remove artifacts. And this card is pretty pricey. So that's 23. That's with a Silvermere, so yeah. I'd like to actually get another creature in there. 13 is a low creature count. I'd like to fit this Gust Skimmer actually, if at all possible, but I don't know how I would go about doing that. All the spells left in the deck, I'm pretty pleased with. So, no, I think it's good as it is. Yeah, this will have to work. Probably going to be like a. I think I probably want like more plains than mountains to enable these turn 2 Skyhunter appearances. So I'm thinking like a 10-7. We'll see what Magic Online has to say. Magic Online is very confused. So no, we don't need any forests. Thank you very much. Okay. So Moto thinks we want more mountains. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 colored requirements, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 white. But all the white is very early, so maybe like a 9-8. I'm gonna go with the gut and play a 10-7. Yeah, looks like a deck. I will see you guys in round 1.